I have absolutely no idea how to not do that. I was looking around like I truly, I mean, I can see where I can like supposedly do intros and outros, but it nothing is selected. And as soon as I went live, it's like, let's do 5 minutes of elevator music. So anyway, hey, thanks for hanging around, everybody. Hi, everybody who's here: Iceland Calling, and Mason, and Carlton. Testing for Linux Plus on March 7th. Oh, good luck there. I hope that goes well. Patrick says, let's install Gentoo. I mean, there's not enough time in the day for that, but we'll see how it goes. Ethereum has a hard fork in March. It's called Pectra. Hey Scott, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Did you comment above and I didn't see you? I was just trying to reply to comments. And again, I'm on the Streamlabs Talk Studio thing instead of Restream, and I might miss stuff. So anyway, hello Scott, welcome. Why is Ethereum forking? I mean, didn't they already they switched to proof of stake instead of proof of work, which is why like graphics cards all of a sudden were no longer desirable for crypto. Then they all of a sudden were desirable for AI, I guess. But anyway, I don't know. I am totally disconnected from the crypto world these days. I have nothing at all to do with it. That used to be what I did every day, day in, day out, at least managing the servers that did stuff. But these days, nothing. I'm just soured to the whole crypto world. But anyway, Mason, I'm only here for the 5 minutes, and Sean, you did the 5-minute timer, so I'm out. No, sorry about that. I'm doing okay. That's about it, Mason. I hope you have a good rest of your evening, though. Thanks for stopping by, at least for a howdy ho. What's the best resource to prepare for Linux Plus? I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that. I didn't. There wasn't a great resource out there that I could think of, so I started making the Linux Plus course, and I haven't had time to finish it yet. So I mean, I thought there was a need there. That Gentoo install, yeah, it'll just take too long. I mean, it's so funny. That's been the joke for so long that Gentoo just takes so long to install. I haven't done really anything. The one thing that I did that's kind of cool, and I guess maybe it won't reach that far. Well, let me plug it into a different power thing and let it boot up, and then I'll show you. I have it's an M5 stack Echo. I bought it a couple years ago and I never even took it out of the box, but I flashed ESP or ESP Home on it for Home Assistant, and it works, but the built-in speaker is so ridiculously tiny. Oh, hold on, Mason has a quick question for where he goes. What's that? Would I ever make a video on how to manage Linux servers in terms of day-to-day administration tasks? I mean, yeah, if there was like specifically like I mean, I know you have to leave, Mason, but follow up like what kind of thing you're talking about? Like what do you mean exactly? Because I'm interested in I'm interested in picking up what you're putting down. So yeah, just message me even offline or something about more specifically what you mean. And yeah, so this is the M5 stack Echo device. I don't remember how much I paid for it because it was like years ago, and I don't necessarily recommend buying it, but now it works directly with Home Assistant, and I have machine learning training a new wake word for it. But okay, Naboo, what time is it?
3:10 p.m.
I don't know if you could hear that, but it's really, really hard to hear. It's really tiny, so I'm going to try to figure out a way to do an external speaker on it. But it is kind of cool. I mean, I can do things like, okay, Naboo, turn off the office lights. So that's kind of cool. Motion assist or motion detection. I'll turn it back on. I think I'm going to turn it into like build it into like a tiny little stuffed bear or something, because I'm using machine learning to train up the word Rufus. And I think that would be a funny thing to say, Rufus, turn up the heat, something like that. Carlton Sawyer, you're more than welcome to mention another course. Yeah. Or another YouTube channel, by all means. Even when I was able to do YouTube like every day, I didn't think of other channels as competitors. Just more resources that are, easily available. So anyway, yeah, that's about the only fun stuff that I did this week. Other than that, it was just trying to get work done. Oh no, I saw it was Valentine's Day, and I got my wife flowers, but in true nerd fashion, I got her 3D printed flowers. So I 3D printed flowers, and there's also stems that you glue on, and they're kind of really shockingly cute. I really think that they're for 3D printed stuff, they're pretty cute. So yeah, I still got, he bought me flowers credit, even though they were 3D printed. It's a weird chat system compared to the other. Oh, it's Krusty. Hello, hello. All right. Oh, what else is going on? I guess we could watch music for another 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Some of the fun projects I want to do. I know I mentioned last week that I did do the Bluetooth proxies for Home Assistant. I guess I did do one other thing. I got the it's a 24 millimeter presence detection. We talked about that. I had one, and I got it all set up. It also uses ESP Home as its base operating system, but instead of movement, it just detects people in the room, which is kind of cool. I'll show you the interface to it. Let me hold on. Let's how do I share something here? Let's see. Share screen. Yes, I understand. Share a window, and the window is going to be, let's see, where are you? There we go. We'll share Home Assistant. I don't think there's anything on there that like you wouldn't want to see. So anyway, okay, this is my current house. So if you go to the Everything Presence Zone Detector, though, this is actually an interesting device because I divided into 2 zones for the 2 sides of my office, but it can track up to 3 targets, and then so you can have presence detection by zone or by just like, does it detect anybody there or not? And that red dot that is kind of moving around, that's me. I know I'm not actually moving around, but it's the way it detects it thinks I'm moving around. I think it bounces some signal off the screens and like the monitors in front of me, but it's shockingly good at detecting like if I'm here and I don't have to move, I can just be here. And then I use that. So you shouldn't see, like, do you remember some of the live streams I do? I'll hold still and just, talk into the camera and type, and the motion detection times out and the lights will go off and I'll have to like jump around. Now it detects me here, whether I'm moving or not, which is just so cool. And yeah, it's it doesn't, it's been like foolproof. Here, I'm going to walk over to the other side of the room just so you can watch the red dot move. I'll be right back. I assume it moved. Did it move? If it didn't move, tell me, because it should have moved. But the red dot should have gone over to zone 2. But, excuse me. Anyway, oh, my AutoMod stopped you from commenting. Well, I couldn't make it not play video at the start of the stream. So if you're looking to me for trying to get it to work right, then that is not going to happen. I have to figure out how to stop sharing. You guys don't want to look at my other stuff. It did move. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, this is my. You want to see my Home Assistant things here? It's kind of cool, right? I don't know how to stop sharing. Okay. End my screen share. All right, now you're stuck with just me. Um, so, yeah, the thing about crypto, I mean, I've been in crypto for a very long time. I managed a huge data center full of Bitcoin miners, thousands of Bitcoin miners that like they had to bring in like multiple giant transformers to add more power to the building, and they had to custom make the building for cooling. It was crazy. I did it for a long time, and I was excited about crypto, but then it just kind of like went off the rails for me. About the time NFTs came into play, and it just ended up being like dude bro stuff. And I just kind of lost interest. Also, the last job I had was all managing Filecoin servers in 5 different data centers, and it just kind of never took hold, and it was just frustrating. So I always liked the technology, but now I wouldn't trust their technology because of the the type of folks who are super into it. So, but I digress. Um, it won't let you use the word nerd. Okay, that's hilarious. I mean, we're proud nerds. So is it like is it, I see that you're on Twitch. I wonder if it's something built into Twitch. Okay, Iceland Calling is on YouTube, so it must be a Twitch specific thing. That is so funny. All right, Shane, will you try to say nerd? As I see you're also on Twitch. That's funny. Adam, let's see. WGU student, one of the Discords I'm in. I'll recommend your course for Linux Essentials. Oh, sweet. Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me know, too. That's awesome. Adam, I mean, hang around this group. They're all Linux nerds, although some of them can't say they're nerds, apparently. Oh, Shane can. How bizarre. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. But yeah, and I mean, I have quite a bit of the next course I would recommend, the Linux Plus course, but it's not complete. So I mean, you can get some training from me there, but not the complete course. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. Oh, that's awesome. That makes my day. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I don't know what's going on, Scott. Apparently you just have to be really really offensive. Nerd, 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 super nerd. Then you can. I wonder what it was about. Maybe were you commenting too fast or something? Or did it specifically say you couldn't say the word nerd? Word nerd, word nerd. I'm drinking the orange cream flavored Coke. Kind of weird. Oh, well, that's cool. Awesome. Hashim, I don't know if you're watching, but if so, hello. Thanks for subscribing. I apparently do not remember setting any of these things up because I didn't think I set that up, but apparently it's set up somewhere. So the notification pops up. That's cool. Yeah, so that's I suppose I should put a link. Sorry, I'm a little scattered. I'm more than a little scattered. Everything presents like. So this is the device that I just showed off in Home Assistant. It's the presence detector. The light one doesn't have a motion detector, but it has that 24 millimeter like presence detection thing. So anyway, but a frustrating part is I plugged it in and like turned it on and tried to adjust it and stuff, and it would not work. It showed like phantom presence behind the sensor. It was the weirdest thing. It just would not work at all. And it turns out that the 24 millimeter module, it's added on to the internal like ESP32 board, and the actual firmware on that add-on needed to be updated. So I had to like install some Bluetooth updating thing and turn on the Bluetooth feature of that module with it plugged in, stand right next to it with my phone to flash it, and then it worked. And now it works fine. But I'm assuming that if you buy one now, it would be flashed with the current version out of the box. So anyway. I thought you were gonna say I'd go. I mean, it seemed like it, Scott. It was really weird because it wouldn't detect anything in front of it. And I'm like thinking the board is assembled wrong, like turned it upside down, and like I don't like, is it supposed to be sideways or all this stuff? And I could not get it to work at all. All right, hey Adam, thanks for stopping in, man, and yeah, stop in anytime. Yeah. Thanks for stopping in. This nothing terribly exciting is going to happen, so you're not going to miss a whole lot today. But yeah, I'm trying to think anything else cool that has happened this week. I had to snowblow. That wasn't cool. I had to snowblow, and we don't have a garage, so the snowblower sits outside. And when the temperature is warm and cold, like it'll rain or it'll snow, and then some of the snow will melt, and then the water will get inside places. I've had the whole crankcase of the snowblower like fill with ice. That's not fun. Where the engine won't even turn over. It's like frozen solid, and I have to like get a hair dryer out there for a couple hours. This time the engine started right up, but the belt mechanism is like inside an enclosure. And apparently that somehow filled up with ice because it wouldn't engage the tines. And so I literally just had to let the snowblower run for like an hour so that the engine heat would eventually work into the clutch system for the tines. And after like an hour of idling, I could blow snow. So yeah, that was a long, long day. I've managed to think of any book reviews or suggestions. Shane, I know we talked about books. What kind of books are we talking about? Are we talking about tech books or sci-fi books? I did start reading a new book series that is, I didn't think it was going to be good. Maybe I talked about it last week. Maybe I did. I don't know if I did. Ooh. Oh man. Sun's color. It's freezing rain in the mountain. Oh, that's terrible. I hope. Yeah, tell Renee. I mean, don't like distract her if she's already left, but tell her to drive safe. I mean, that's not cool. Freezing rain is so much worse than snow and stuff. Fantasy sort of books, but anyway. Okay, so has anybody read lit RPG, like literary RPG books? The notion I found incredibly dumb. I didn't think it would work, but Dungeon Crawler Carl was my first exposure to it, and it was compelling. I thought it would be so dumb. It's basically taking an RPG game and turning it into a storyline. Like in the Dungeon Crawler Carl, it's aliens come and basically flatten the earth because they're like, I mean, it's basically like a Vogon thing, right? They're just like making way for taking over a planet for something I don't remember. And anybody who is left alive has to compete in the dungeon game, which is rigged, so nobody can win. And if somebody wins, like any of the planet natives win, they get to keep the planet, but it's like rigged, so nobody can win. Book 7 came out in audio this week. I haven't started reading it yet, but it's, yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl is fascinatingly good, and they somehow made it not too stupid to enjoy. So I do recommend that. Shane, Dungeon Crawler Carl. The audio is a lot of fun. And while I was waiting for Dungeon Crawler Carl to come out, I think it was actually Audible might have recommended it. It's a series called He Who Fights with Monsters. Again, it's lit RPG. So I expected it to be just obnoxiously dumb as a premise, but this guy also made it somehow not feel horrible. It's enjoyable, and I truly, really, really like the stories. So it's yeah, just the whole series is called He Who Fights with Monsters, and I just started book 5. They're pretty long books right now. There's 11 of them that are in print or on Audible or whatever. And the books are just titled He Who Fights with Monsters, Book 1, Book 2, Book 3, Book 4. And the only thing I don't like about the audio versions is sometimes when they're describing like character traits, like I'm sure on paper it's just like you glance over it and see like where they are, but the narrator has to read, like bronze level rank 5, iron effect, this 2.2%, level 5, 2.3%, bronze effect, level 6, and they just like go through literally like a minute and a half of just describing character ranks, like trait ranks and stuff. So that can be a little frustrating, but the storyline itself is just really, really good. So anyway, I missed stuff. I'm sorry. Oh, you have a Mini Cooper, Countryman All Four. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yes, Sarah guys are right. Fiction source RPG and EVE Online. I believe that. I had never heard of the genre before Dungeon Crawler Carl. So Dungeon Crawler Carl was self-published, and he still self-published it. He I don't know how he worked the deal, but he self-publishes his books first, but then a traditional publishing company came in and bought the rights from him. Even though all 6 books at the time were published, they bought the rights to reprint them, and so now you can get them from a traditional publisher. The first, well, now 7, because the 7th book just came out as well. So they kind of went mainstream. And as far as the He Who Fights with Monsters, it's available only on Audible, and I think the books themselves you can only get from Amazon print on demand, like if you want the paper books, which is unfortunate, but I understand because Amazon pays really well for that kind of a thing, so yeah, I get it. But I don't know, it's really compelling storyline. I really enjoy it. So anyway, a good writer can make pretty much any genre work. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just, I didn't think that I could get behind the notion of, an RPG game being real life, but both authors managed to like make it believable enough of a scenario that you're like, all right, okay, I get it. That's an acceptable way to make ridiculous fantasy stuff believable. Because I mean, it's supposed to be like urban fantasy, right? Like modern fantasy, not just like traditional fantasy. So yeah, it's still I enjoy it. Fan of Michigan-based author Scott Sigler. I don't know Scott. That sounds really familiar. What kind of stuff does Scott Sigler write? I have to say, if you one of my favorite narrators is Michigan-based. Luke Daniels is a pretty well known narrator, and he lives a couple hours south of me. Let's see, Scott Sigler. What has he written? Science fiction and horror. Infected, contagious, pandemic. Interesting. I don't think I've read any of these, but the name sounds really familiar to me, so I'm not sure. Some horror, some sci-fi. Yeah. Galactic Football League series. That's funny. I mean, that's a funny premise, I have to admit. Yeah. My wife just started reading. She's in a book club. For those who don't know, my wife works at a local indie bookstore. But she is also, this is just a book club that she's a book person, right? So she's in a book club and they're reading Elantris. It's her first Brandon Sanderson book. It was also his first book, but it's like the shortest Brandon Sanderson book ever, and it's still so long. She's enjoying it, but you have to really enjoy Brandon Sanderson books to dive in and read them. So, well, have I heard of a YouTube channel called Big Ol' Boats? I have not, Scott, but I mean, if it's about big old boats, I get horribly seasick. So That it doesn't sound pleasant to me. That said, I really want to get. I like to kayak. For some reason, I don't get seasick in kayaks. I think maybe that makes sense. I think people who get seasick don't necessarily get seasick in really small, like canoes and kayaks. I think it's just the bigger boats where like you're not really swaying with the. I don't know. I've never gotten seasick in a kayak, but I get seasick in boats all the time and rides. Like if we, I mean, we haven't in, gosh, we haven't 7 or 8 years. But when we go to Universal, I can't do most of the rides, especially the VR rides where they're not really VR, but they're like the, where it's like a screen and it seems 3D and stuff. I can't do those. I get so nauseated. Really interesting about a lot of the shipwrecks in the Great Lakes. Oh, cool. So that would be fun. Do they dive to them and stuff? They must dive to them and stuff. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be all that interesting. Omar, welcome. Yeah, there's nothing terribly interesting happening this time. I'm sorry that that's kind of been the case for a while now, but it's but you're welcome. Yeah, we're kind of a bunch of nerds here. So talking about shipwrecks, I have like a guilty pleasure that I have to admit to. I have been watching The Curse of Oak Island for years now. A friend of mine said, "Oh, you should really watch this." It was already like 7 seasons in, and they're never going to find anything, like ever. They're not going to find anything, and yet I still find myself always wanting to watch more. There's just something about the whole treasure hunting thing that is really, really compelling, and I can't explain it. I'm like mad at myself for liking to watch it. But yeah, The Curse of Oak Island is it's hard to stop watching. And also the guys who like do the whole thing, like bought all the land on Oak Island up in Nova Scotia. They're from Traverse City, just like an hour and a half south of me. So they're Michigan guys and stuff. And I don't know if that's part of the reason, but it's so frustrating to get hooked into because they never find anything, but they still almost find stuff or something. So anyway, I guess that's about. I got a whole bunch of text messages. Make sure everybody's okay. My wife says when my live stream is over, she asked me to bring her a bottle of water, so I will do that. Looks like maybe we are not doing family dinner tonight, which is fine. All right. What else could we talk about? Anybody have any questions about anything? Oh, I did find some more ESP32s. Remember I said I was out? I found 6 of them. Oh yeah, and I lost 3. No, but yeah, so I gotta come up with some more projects because I have 6 of those, and then I do have, I think, 1 ESP8266. I don't know. Maybe I lost it. Apparently I'm just talking about Home Assistant a lot anymore. But this is just another device I'll plug in and I'll play with. On this stuff. I know that I'm into cybersecurity specifically. Not really, to be quite honest. Yeah, cybersecurity is something that I don't know, or I know enough about to know that I am not somebody you want to turn to for expert information, if that makes sense. Oh, you know about, okay. Yeah. Shane, have I looked at the packaging up the parts? I didn't, but you know what? I specifically thought that I should do that, like for the bouncing ball thing, right in the background. The bouncing balls. I get questions about that all the time, and that's just an ESP8266 and a little light strip and a plastic diffuser. So I probably should. Yeah, it'd be fun to make little packages. I mean, basically like Crunch Labs, right? I mean, I could be the new Mark Rober, but for even nerdier projects. Yeah. What are we building? I don't know what to build with them, to be quite honest. I just haven't come up with anything. Yeah, I think you're right, Shane. I think that's what we were like. The bouncing light thing is what started it. And I guess I should just get some and see how much the parts would be to bundle up. I mean, I don't know if I could make a bunch of like. It depends on how much they cost, right? And I mean, I guess I could buy some things in bulk, and I could print out little, like stands. I think that's probably where I like lost myself. Like, oh, I need to print the perfect 3D printed like holster for it or something. But speaking of which, so this is something I used during our scavenger hunt, not this year, but the year before. It is and what are the cards? Radio frequency ID cards. It's a reader and it will read them. And then I got some of these are just little tags, and then when you scan it, it will it triggers a notification on Home Assistant, and so it can be used as a trigger for an automation. And so, like one of the things I did, I don't see it here, but I had a 3D printed snowman puzzle, and like it was a kind of thing where you like have to like twist and twist and pull and push and twist and turn and pull, and like there was a clue inside. And later on in the scavenger hunt, they said, get the snowman puzzle that you had in, at the beginning and set it on top of my bird bath, because in the bottom of the snowman, I had embedded one of these tags, and I set up an automation, and I had this scanner thing on top of the bird bath. And so they set the snowman on top of it, and it scanned it. And then the automation was Home Assistant, where I also had a speaker hidden outside that it played a pre-recorded clue that I had recorded when they set it on top, and felt very Indiana Jones like. They set it on there, bloop, 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 and then it was me over the speakers and telling them a clue. So sorry, I just see all this Home Assistant stuff and it just gets excited. Do I suggest any playlists that you made in courses in the? I don't have anything cybersecurity specific. I don't think. Yeah, I don't. You can look at my playlist, but I don't have anything security related. I try not to. Again, that's the kind of thing where I don't want to. I don't want to claim expertise that I don't feel I have. So I just kind of avoid the topic of security, which is bad on my part. I know, but let's see, Scott. If I buy off AliExpress, ESP32, they're cheap. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that would be kind of cool. I should just have a whole bunch of. I should really make a list of the projects that I do. Like, I mean, that whole like the scanning thing, that would be cool. This one is pretty custom though. Like the I think that it's a custom board that he made. It's not a. Oh, come on, open up. Ow, broke my nail there. Yeah, like this guy made a custom board that I bought. It's like based on an ESP3266, but it's not stock. He like had a custom board printed, so it would fit in his little enclosure. But I mean, I could figure out the parts and do that. I should just like start to come up with all the projects I have, and instead of just a list of Amazon link, I guess I could do both, right? I could say, you can buy the completed kit from me. I bought them in bulk, so it might be a little cheaper. But if you'd rather just buy them yourself, here's some affiliate Amazon links to get them. So maybe I should do that. That'll be good. Yeah. I'll have to look at all the different projects I have and figure that out. What I should figure out is if I could do the presence sensor, just buying the boards instead of like the pre-built, because that's what I basically have done. I bought somebody else's pre-made kits. What's wrong with me? So anyway, I'll have to work on that. I'll have to think of all the different projects that I have and stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that's about it. I'm printing some more flowers just because I love my wife, and I'm going to give her some more 3D printed flowers. I found a couple different kinds, so I want to try to make a bouquet of different types of 3D flowers. I can make and sell the process, other tips, etc. The PDF. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I could. And the bill of materials, again, trying to think like, okay, how the Amazon affiliate links would be a way that I could even justify that to my banker. Like I have a banker. Yeah. I've heard you can get custom boards made. I'm not smart enough on doing stuff to really like benefit from that, but at least not yet. So, but yeah, I've heard that the custom boards are pretty easy to have made. But yeah. So yeah. What did I do here? Oh, I can have more than one on there? No. Sorry, it's a weird chat interface here. Banker's my wife. Yeah, but we're both yeah, neither one of us are great when it comes to banking. We both have ADHD, and it means we're fun. But that's about it. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Book recommendations. What else do I have? Sorry, I know we're running out of time, but that's okay because I started without really anything specific to talk about. So let me look at some of the books that I've recently read. Recently, I have read. I talked about the He Who Fights Monsters stuff. I haven't read them all, but gosh, I read Pandominion, the Infinity Gate is science fiction. It was pretty cool. It's a duology. It's complete. It's by M.R. Carey. It's Infinity Gate is the first book, and Echo of Worlds is the second book. I found them very enjoyable. I liked them very much. And it was 2 books and done. So it's a duology, not even a trilogy, and it's not like a cliffhanger. So those are cool. I read a book, Cabin. It's just called Cabin by Patrick Hutchison. It was just a guy who bought a cabin and remodeled it. It's not sci-fi or fantasy. It was just completely out of the blue for me, but I really kind of want to have a cabin for my, like, just for taking vacation weekends kind of thing. So that appealed to me. I read The Great Insurrection. I guess there's a lot of those books though. It's The Great Insurrection by David Beers. I found that really interesting. I liked that. I don't know if it's done. I don't remember if it was over at the end. I wasn't angry when I was done reading it though, so maybe it's done. You have some Rust book recommendations? Yeah, Scott. I mean, throw them out. They don't have to be sci-fi fantasy. Yeah, throw out any recommendations you want at all. I did read some Preternatural Chronicles books. There is a cliffhanger at the end of that. I think there's nine books in or something. They're by Hunter Blaine. They're pretty good. They're just urban fantasy, brain candy kind of thing. Let's see. My wife just read the Farseer books, the first 3 Robin Hobb books. Yeah, I guess that I can't think of anything else. Just scrolling through like books that I've read recently. A lot of the books that I'm talking about are like 12 books in the series. So like, I did read. So you said Rust. Scott made me think of the trilogy by Hugh Howey, the Wool trilogy, which now they made the series Silo on Apple TV. I read the first book, Wool, and it was good. But the second book like goes back in time, and that's tough for me. I don't necessarily want to go back in time, and I guess that they're really heart wrenching. Like they'll just like make you angry, kind of thing. So I read the first one. I actually got to. I don't remember if I was in the interview or it was when I was doing stuff with Tech TV, not Tech TV. What is the Leo twit.tv? Sorry, This Week in Tech. I don't remember if I was in the interview or if I was just it was while I was at Twit. But Ant Pruitt got to do an interview with Hugh Howey, the author of Wool, and that was kind of cool. He's a really nice guy. I really like him. But I have only read the first book in that series. Shane, yeah, my wife liked it. She said they were not high action books. They were really slow burn books, but the characters, I guess, were really compelling. I mean, I read them, but it's been a long time ago. There was recently a reprinting of the books, which is how it piqued her interest. Like, the publishers will send them, early copies of books that are about to be published. And so there was a reprint of them that was just done. And so she had never heard of it. But so she read I don't remember how many she read, if she just read the first one or not. But yeah, it was a very slow burn. She said she enjoyed it, but the main character gets, yeah. And she said it was a lot of like it was like, she said a lot of it was like training montages over and over. But yeah, I don't know. I remember, I know that I liked them because I had them on my bookshelf. I had the trilogy on my bookshelf, which is generally a sign that I enjoyed it. Like I don't necessarily keep books on my bookshelf if I don't like them. The books on my bookshelves are generally like trophies, but that sounds cheesy, but I like to have books that I've enjoyed. And even if I read them via audio, like if I just listen to the audiobooks, sometimes after that, I will buy the paperbacks or, hardcovers, whatever, how new they are, but I'll buy the physical books and put them on the bookshelf as trophies. But really it's so that I can remember that I enjoyed them. So if somebody like is over and they're like, oh, you have so many books, what do you think are good? And I'm like, if they're on my shelf, I probably think they're good. And I'll often buy, like if it's a series of books, I'll often buy several copies of book one, because if somebody's interested, I'll just give them the book, right? And so I've given away, for example, somebody is borrowing more than, like this. This is probably the 6th copy of Jim Butcher's Furies of Calderon. It's the first book of the Codex Alera series. Because I've given away the first book so many times, I really, really like this series. And yeah, just give it away. Give them away a lot. So a good website that lets you download coding books for free. Oh, that's cool. Codersguild.net. That's awesome. Yeah, that's worth knowing about. And I like, it's almost like a shareware kind of thing where you pay for them if you use them or like them. That's cool. Yeah. The only time I can learn programming stuff is when I have something I need to accomplish via code, and then I kind of like dive in and I've written some elaborate programs in PHP and in Python, and they were always for crypto stuff, but I have to have a very specific reason. Yeah. That guy I recommended, good name. Who did I recommend? I recommended a lot. What did I recommend? Good name. Was it a Scott? Was it somebody Scott? Probably recommended a Scott, didn't I? Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. The author. No, last name. Oh. Well, now I don't remember who we're talking about. Dang it. Oh, Butcher. Yes. Jim Butcher. So interestingly, Jim Butcher is not known for these books. Jim Butcher is known for the Dresden Files, right? The Dresden Files also up there. I really like them as well. But his son, also Jim, but he is an author now, and it's yeah, Shane, exactly. He's most well known for the Dresden Files. I actually really like this Codex Alera series of his, though. But his son is a writer now, but he goes under the name James Butcher. So if you look for James Butcher, he has a new book. And hold on, let me check my pre-orders because I pre-ordered it. I think it's a third book in his very first series. Let's see, pre-orders. It is called, yes. It's out in 15 days. It's James J. Butcher. Is it J? Yeah, James J. Butcher is the name that he goes by. And he has a series, The Unorthodox Chronicles. And book 3 comes out in 15 days. And so I recommend it. I wasn't sure, because I mean, is he going to be just like his dad? He's not. He's a little bit different. And but in a good way. It's good. I was, especially for a first book, his first book was good enough that I immediately bought the second book and pre-ordered the third. So anyway, Lewis, hi, bye. It's going okay. It's snowing still. We have so much snow. We have so much snow here that, along with a weather warning, I got my weather app told me that there was, like severe weather warnings, but there's two. There's that we're getting snow, but then there's the hydrologic outlook talking about a flood outlook for my area because there's so much snow that when it does warm up, they expect the banks to overflow from all the snow melt. So yeah, I don't know why we just got so much snow this year. Similar in Wisconsin, worse. I don't know if it's worse on. We have got a lot of our snow has been lake effect. So maybe that's true. We do get a lot of lake effect some years, and this is one of those years where the bulk of our snow has been lake effect, which is a fascinating phenomenon. Where it's not a storm, but somehow the cold air blows just right over the lake that it creates snow out of nothing but the warmth and going over the water and stuff. And so we just get lake effect snow where it comes in bands, which I also don't understand. It'll be like these skinny bands of snow that go west to east. Usually if there's wind coming across the lake in a different direction, we'll get bands that way. But we'll get like let's say we get 2.5 feet of snow, and if you can go a mile south and they didn't get any snow, it's the weirdest thing. Lake effect snow is just crazy. Lewis, what is this snow thing you talk about? I'll tell you what. Yeah, this year we've gotten a lot. Tanuki Zoot. So I have a friend in Buffalo, actually a couple friends in Buffalo, and yeah, same thing. When it goes just right over Lake Ontario, they just get covered in it. I'm not sure about Scott. Not to give away Scott's location, but I know he's over in that general area. I don't know. Scott, do you get lake effect snow where you are? I know you're on, that general area, but I don't know. Buffalo just gets, they're located in just the right spot to just get dumped on with lake effect when the wind blows just right. I think that in Michigan, we get a more widespread lake effect, but not as intense. Like they'll get it when they have the wind just right, they'll just get feet and feet of snow, whereas we just get more frequent bouts of like 6 to 9 inches or something. Yeah, when the nor'easters hold it on top of it. Okay, so you've experienced lake effect too. It's a crazy phenomenon. Lake effect snow is just, it boggles my mind how it happens. And it's neat to see the satellite things. And the thing I don't understand the most is the bands. I mean, I can kind of see like, okay, cold air blows over the warmer open water, and it like the water evaporates and gets sucked, drawn up into the atmosphere and freezes and then falls. But I don't understand the bands part of it. That's the part that fascinates me. 24 in 24 hours on Christmas 2003. That's just crazy. Yeah, we normally get when the lake effect happens anywhere from, I mean, a mild one will be 3 inches up to like a foot. Sometimes we'll get more than a foot of snow from a lake effect event, but again, it's in bands. It'll be like here we get a ton, and here we get like 2 inches, and then here we get 20 inches. It's just crazy. What really makes it bad is when it's very windy, so we get drifts. Like we might have only gotten like 6 actual inches of snow, but it drifts up to like 4-foot drifts across the road. Yeah, it may not have covered the entire ground with 4 foot of snow, but a 4-foot drift is a 4-foot drift. You still got to get through it. So, all right, Lewis, see you next week. Yeah, I know. I should be busier than I am, but I like to just sit here and chat. So, yeah, I see the orthodontist this week. I don't think he's going to take off my braces, but man, the rubber bands are now giving me canker sores on my lips. I cannot explain enough how much I wish I would have just kept the one crooked, injured tooth on my bottom, down here, rather than going on a year of misery with braces. So, anyway, I'm jealous. I hope that mine go away soon. Supposedly the rubber bands are like the last stage because they just try to line up your teeth, like your bite. I mean, I've talked about it before, and it is better than it was. I don't think it's quite fixed, so I'm guessing I'll probably have one more, month and a half of braces, and then maybe they'll talk about taking them off, but we'll see. I see them later on this week, and I'll just hope for the best. But anyway, it's about time. I'm going to go get my wife a big metal bottle full of ice water, drive it down to her, and yeah. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll talk to you. Oh, somebody doing that. That's what you're doing. They got the wisdom teeth out. Yeah, I have. I had my wisdom teeth taken out, and that was another whole thing. Bone chips coming through, and it wouldn't heal up. But that's another whole story for another live stream. Have a great week, everybody. If you have braces, I'm sorry, but I hope you have a good week regardless. And I'll talk to you later. Bye. End stream, yes. Are you sure you want to end the broadcast? Not really, but I'm gonna.